Hello Ali Pallies and welcome back to my channel. Now I wasn't up to doing a live today. I was feeling a bit sick and I think it's to do with a lot of disturbed sleep I've been having due to my foot and the pain in it and everything. But I do want to make myself up, so I thought what I'd do is get ready with me, and I fancy trying that green pencil I tried yesterday in the YSL. So I'm going to have a go at doing that. But because I'm feeling a little bit yuck, I thought what I'd do first is go through some really thorough skincare, because that always makes me feel better. So I thought I'd take you through it. Now, I got some of these yesterday. Now, if you're ever wanting to get makeup wipes and you're frustrated that they're tiny little things, which I often find, go to the baby section. I got these. Look, it looks like nappies, but they're not. Look at that size. Now, that's a proper size to get rid of all your makeup. The only thing was I couldn't work out how to get the packet open. I ripped it down the top and it still was sealed tight. So I cut it and now it's cut into these strings. So it's not very good packaging. It doesn't help you to open it, but it makes up for it. Look at that. Look at that. You're only going to need one of those. And they're so much cheaper. As soon as you start calling something cosmetic anything, then they rank up the price. So there you go. And these ones are, I got these on Ocado and they're called Baby Kind Pure Cotton Giant Pads. Okay. Just have a look in your baby section rather than the cosmetic section. It's just always, you're always going to get a better deal. And of course, if it's going near baby skin, then you can be very confident that it's okay to go near your face. Probably even more so than the stuff they put in cosmetics. Now, I've cleansed my face, but I just feel like there's still a little bit of remnants still from my eyes and my mascara from yesterday, even though I thought I did a very good job. If you do your tight line in the upper tight line, that I always end up with remnants the next day. So I've cleansed my face, but I'm just going to go back over with the very last bit I've got left of this Elemis cleansing micellar water and just do my eyes and make sure that I've got the remnants of everything off my eyes. I'll do that and I will be right back, okay? Okay, so next up I'm going to go in with some toner. Now, I got this week because we've been talking on the Hangout about alcohol-free toners. And so I wanted to try one that was reasonably priced. And I saw this in my local supermarket and it's called Detox. It's got some quite good ingredients in, but no alcohol. So it's got things like lactic acid, it's got aloe vera, aloe barbensis leaf, sodium hyaluronate, it has got a bit of perfume, allantoin, and Brassica oleracea italica extract. I think that's something to do with olive oil, but I don't know. It sounds like lots of natural ingredients, and it's just a toner. So, and it was on offer for £6. So I'm just going to put some of that on one of these giant pads, and I'm going to use that all over my face to just make sure that I've got every last trace of cleanser off my face. And it doesn't smell too perfumed. It smells fresh, which is nice. Okay, so that's good. Not too much makeup. I've done a reasonable job of getting my makeup off everywhere else. And I just need to concentrate around my nose because that's where I have the open pores. And I want to make sure that they are cleansed. Okay, next up I'm going to go in with an essence, and I'm going to talk a little bit about essence. Now, when essences came out, I thought, oh, just another step that they've invented that we need and everything else. But I'm a true fan of essences now, and actually I don't often use toner, but I always use an essence. Now, there is a really good inexpensive essence that you can get from the Body Shop called Vitamin E essence. Really, really good. The one that I got was a bit more on the pricey side, but it's lasted me forever because you don't really need to use a lot of it. and this one's by Omorovicza. And basically what it does is it kind of, when you put it on, I'm not going to go into all the scientifics about what the spiel, because I'll only be regurgitating what skincare companies say, and who knows whether that's been clinically properly scientifically proven. But what I can, it's got things like sodium hyaluronate again, and allantoin and lactic acid, but the way that it actually makes my skin feel after I've put it on is the way that my skin felt before I cleansed it. So any tightness, any kind of stripping of oils, it kind of just feels to me like it restores it. Now, another claim that Omorovicza state about this is that it helps, it's got some technology that it helps all the other products afterwards to absorb better. Now, I've looked into these claims. I can't find anything other than Omorovicza's claims. But I know that a lot of people give them very good reviews. And the co-owner's skin looks pretty good. So I don't know, but it feels good on the skin, and it feels like your skin has gone back to that before cleansed feel, not tight, just feeling nice. So I like to use an essence even if I don't use a toner. And I think, you know, some could say you could use an either or, but today I'm pampering myself. So let's now move on to serum, or should I say serums, because I want to use a couple. Okay, so for serums, I'm going to use, first of all, I'm going in with the Buffet Plus Copper Peptide Serum, which I got in the birthday sale, which I'm loving, and is really making my skin feel nice. And look, if you look at it, it's actually blue. So I always put that on afterwards. I'm just going to use about 4 drops. They don't tell you how many drops to use, so I just generally put on enough to cover my face. The smell isn't brilliant, but they don't put added perfume in their stuff, so it kind of reminds me a bit of how your fingers smell when you've been touching a lot of coins in your handbag. It's that almost that and vinegar, but it does really, I've noticed a difference in my skin since I've started using it. So I always go in with that one first, and then the second one that I've been using for quite a while is Pigment by NIOD. And I got this at New Year, and I'm sort of halfway down. So you don't need to, again, you don't need to use a lot, but this one is good for pigmentation, and it's got ingredients that claim to help with protect you in terms of your pigmentation. And I used a few drops of these, and I put that on my skin afterwards, and especially concentrate around my head and my cheeks, just to make sure that I target the areas where it's actually needed. Now, one of the other things, I'm not going to use it today, but one of the other things that I have noticed recently is my skin was starting to look a bit bumpy around these areas. I will actually get it, because I'm going to show it you, and it's still looking a little bit bumpy. It's not as bad at the moment, which is why I wasn't going to use it, but I'm going to get it you and show you, because this really makes a difference if you've got a little bit of bumpiness around your skin. I don't have spots, but I have noticed in the last year or so that kind of bumpiness, and it might be from products and pores getting clogged. I don't know, but can you see, if I look in the light, there's just that slight bumpiness on my skin. So I'm going to show you what I use. Okay, now there's 2 things I find help with the bumpiness on the skin. And one of them is niacinamide, which I do have a separate product of by The Ordinary, but I'm not going to use that because niacinamide is actually in my sunscreen, so I don't need to use it separately as well. But the other product is azaleic acid. And also, when that scar was bumped and I was doing that video from the Foreo, you will have noticed that I was using this daily. Haven't been using it as regularly now, but I do go back to it. And I'm going to use a little bit of it now. Now, it can tingle a little bit on your skin. It's a sort of, it doesn't feel like the vitamin C tingle. It's a little bit of an itchy, uncomfortable feeling, but it goes away after about a minute. So it's a bit unpleasant, but it's not too bad. But it just, I find it takes that bumpiness away if you use it regularly. And so I'm just going to put some around here, because that's generally the area that I notice the bumpiness, and anything that's left will go over the rest of my face. Now, if you're using this, it can dry your skin out a little bit, so make sure you do some extra moisturising. Okay, so next up, I've been using this a lot recently because my skin has been quite dry. I've been using this Weleda, you can see, because I only got it less than a month ago, cold cream, and it smells gorgeous, but it's all essential oils. And it just, I saw a video with, and you know I'm going to forget her name, I'm not even going to try and remember it, but she was using it, and it just made her face, it just gave the most beautiful natural glow to the skin, and it just feels like such a treat because the smell is delicious. Now, I don't have any firm views about essential oils being near my face, but if you don't like that, then don't get this cream, because it does smell very strongly of essential oils. So that, I think you can see how it makes your skin glow afterwards. It gives a beautiful glow. And then I'm going to put on my sunscreen. And actually, no, I've missed a step. So I'm going to move on to the next step. I've missed out my eyes. So first of all, I'm going to use this fractionated eye contour as a serum all the way around my eyes. And you can put this all the way underneath. We don't go in for, if you've seen my videos in the past, none of this dot it round the orbital bone rubbish. If you can't put it directly under your eyes and on your eyelids, then it, in my opinion, it's not an eye cream and you needn't bother. And then I put it on my eyelids like so. Now, because my eyes have been sensitive, what I follow it with, and I always come back to this, I move away to try other things, but I always come back to it, is that La Roche-Posay Ultra Contour Your Eyes, basically. Again, it's got niacinamide in it. It's very good for sensitive eyes. You can put it directly underneath. You can put it directly on your lids. It's not going to irritate your eyes in any way. And I just put on a nice thick layer and I let it sink in while I'm doing the rest of my skincare. I will give it a good kind of massage just to get the circulation going with my fourth finger. So today you're seeing skincare to full face, but in little snippets. Right, next up I'm going to use Dr. Sam's Daily Sunscreen, which I love. Just be careful about these measured amounts, which I've said before. I use about that much, which is kind of not full pumps, because the full pumps are quite frankly ridiculous, and they do change depending on whether you lay it on its side or not, so they're not consistent, so I don't trust the amounts. And I find I can use that on my chin as well, and it's plenty. And then I'm going to put that all over my face, and I'm going to leave it to settle into my skin for a while, because as you can see, it gives you a bit of a white hue. But after a while of sinking into your skin, and don't forget round your eyes as well, because your eyes are particularly sensitive to sun rays, as I'm sure you know. I'm going to let that settle in and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm really going for it today in terms of glowy products, but you will see later on I do something to compensate so I don't end up looking too sweaty and oily. Right, but all this moisture is going to get drunk in by my skin because I can feel it. And that's about sort of being responsive to your skin. So if it's feeling dry, don't be too afraid. Just give it time to sink in to your skin. Now what I'm going to go and use next is another moisturiser, but this one is one that is designed specifically to use under makeup, which is Charlotte's Magic Cream. But I'm not going to use a lot because I've now got plenty of moisture on my skin. But I just want to make sure that my foundation and my makeup goes on nice and smoothly, and there is nothing to beat Charlotte's Magic Cream for a moisturiser that looks good under makeup. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of that on, and I'll put a little bit of her eye cream on as well over my Toleriane, because I really want to give my skin a treat today. I don't do this every day. Okay, tiny bit of Charlotte's Magic Eye Cream, Eye Rescue, just dotted underneath and on the lids, like that. And then I'm just going to dot that and pat it around my eyes to let that sink in as well. So we've got a really good base to what is about to follow. And then I'm just going to give that about 5 minutes to all sink in nicely before I start going in with my makeup. So I'll see you in 5 minutes time. Okay, so that's all sunk in. Now when you use, they talk about primers, you know what? If you've done that amount of skincare, you've primed your face. Don't be fooled to think that primers have got anything else that's especially magical. Priming your face means getting your skin in tip-top condition so that your makeup sits really well on it. So if you've done that amount of skincare, you've primed your face. However, I'm going to go in with something else to prime my face. Not because I need extra moisture, but because I basically want to do a little bit of colour correcting before I put my foundation on, which is not completely full coverage, but it is pretty full coverage, but it's not completely. So I just want to do a bit of correcting, and for that I'm going to use Hollywood Flawless Filter. And when I put this on yesterday, and then I put the foundation that I'm going to use over the top, I was glowing like a beacon. And so don't be alarmed when you see this, but I will show you in a minute how I counteracted it. So that's why I wanted to show you this. Now I'm going to go in, and I'm not going to show you me applying everything because otherwise this video will be too long. But I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do. So I've got shades 5 and I've got shade 3 in Flawless Filter. And Tamsin, when I went last week, used shade 4 on me. Now I don't like shade 4. I think it makes me look a bit grey. But because she did that, I thought I'm going to mix these two, which is what I did yesterday. So I'm going to mix these two, and I'm going to put it on my face with this brush that I used the other day, and I'll be right back. Okay, next up, I'm going to use this Laura Mercier Flawless Lumière Radiance Perfecting Foundation, and I'm going to put it on with her sponge. And I'm going to show you how I'm doing this, but I'm just going to speed it up, okay? Okay, next up, Magic Away Concealer, shade 5, under my eyes and on my cheeks, and then shade 7 on all the other areas that I want to conceal. So as you can see, I'm looking at very glowy, and if I just point my nose to the light, you can see a mirror-like shine. Now, we don't want that. I want to counteract that. But before I go in with powder, I'm going to put on all my liquid products to kind of get my face into a nice natural contour, and then put my powder over the top, and it looks really nice and natural. Okay, so next on in, I'm going with the contour one. Now, yesterday I used light to medium, but I didn't think it was too subtle, so I wanted to actually use the darker one today. Now, a little tip from Tamsin at Charlotte Tilbury is another thing that you can use is Magic Away in a darker colour. And that Magic Away, not that she said this, but it's slightly cheaper, and it will probably last longer than the wand. So just in case you're thinking, oh, you'll get running out of your contour wand, you might want to think about getting a darker shade of Magic Away and doing that instead. Okay, and now I'm going to blend that in, and I'll do that on speed dial. Okay, next up I'm going in with Pinkgasm, and don't be afraid of putting quite a bit on, because we're going to cover this in a minute with powder. So if you go a bit over the top, like my bronzer at the moment, my sculpt is looking probably a bit over the top, but it doesn't matter because we're going to cover it with powder. So I'm just putting some there. I'm putting some there, and then I'm going to blend that in. And then I'm going to put the highlighter on in the wand as well. I'm just going to take the remnants that are on my finger, just the remnants, just to put a bit around other areas of my face so that it doesn't look like I've got two red cheeks and the rest of my face all looks a completely different colour. It kind of looks like it's your red cheeks. Okay, just a little trick there. Sometimes if they're very pink and the rest of your face isn't, then it looks like blusher. So I don't want it to look like that. And then next up, I'm going to go in with the Beauty Light one. Now, this is the original one. You could use Goldgasm, but I quite like this one because it's rose gold. And by the way, I'm still on my old wand. I've still got loads more left in it. And I've had it for ages and ages because I don't use that much. Put a bit under there and under there, and a little bit down the centre of my nose. not on the tip. And I'll just put a little spot in there to start brightening up my eyes. Okay, so that's my complexion done. But obviously I haven't set any of that yet. And now I'm going to set it, because as you can see, if I look close up here and I point the light at me, I look more than glowy, I look oily. Right, so if you get like this and you're panicking, don't worry, because you can correct it. Now obviously I don't want to mattify all that glow either, so there's a couple of things. First of all, give yourself a couple of minutes for all of that to kind of settle on your skin. Don't start going in with the powder straight away. Right, then I'm going to use shade 1 Genius Magic Powder. Now before I do that, I'm going to go back in and just make sure that I've patted any potential creases out of under my eyes. And also here, I want to rub away any excess. I'm actually rubbing it away more than blending it in, because that is just my foundation. As you know, I didn't put any magic away on. Okay, I don't want to set it with those lines in there. All right, and sometimes I get makeup collecting in those lines on my forehead. So I've made sure that that's all smoothed out. And now I'm going to go in, first of all, under my eyes with shade 1 of Genius Magic Powder. And I'm just going to dot it all the way under my cheeks, like so. And this side. Now the reason I'm using Genius Magic Powder is because, as I said, this has got a little bit of a glow to it, and especially when you spray it, because I don't want to completely mattify all the glowy stuff that I've already done. And then I'm going to take the white powder, and I'm also going to start putting it down the centre of my face as well. So on the centre of my nose, centre here, and centre here. And I'll put a little, what's left on the brush, over my eyes. I'm not too worried about my hair today because it's getting washed later on, by the way, guys. So normally I'd put a hairband on. And then I'm going to switch to shade 2 for the rest of my face. Now, it probably looks like I'm putting a lot on, and I am, but I want to make sure it's all sunk into my glowy products. And I wouldn't put this on with a powder puff, because there are so many glowy products, it's feeling quite sticky, and you don't want it to all concentrate on one area. So I'm using quite a big powder brush to get going at least. You can always go back afterwards once you've got a layer of powder on and finish off by pressing some more in to oily areas. But I want to kind of scatter this quite finely around. And can you see that that blush is coming through, but it looks now like just me blushing. And I will get the glow back from the product once I spray my face. And I can add to it with powder. But that's going to stay put. So you're kind of layering on products that will stay put. I know I'm going back over my nose. Probably shouldn't have done the centre, because I'd already put the fair there, but doesn't really matter too much. And make sure you get up into the sides. Okay, so you still got the glow, but immediately you can't see your face in my nose anymore, but you can see a glow. And then at the end, I'm going to spray all of this and you'll see the glow come back. But for now, I'm just going to let that just kind of soak up and move on to the next stage. And I'm going to use this eye pencil in green. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly what I did with the burgundy pen yesterday, but this time I'm actually going to set the sparkle on my lids so that it wears a bit longer and it doesn't crease. So I'm just going to put that onto my lids now.
No, I want to.
What a gorgeous colour.
I've seen it.
And now I know I can afford to put it on both eyelids before smudging it in, because it isn't going to set down really quickly. Make sure with these pencils that you get right next to the lash line, because as the eyelids get a bit more mature, when you go to open your eyes you can see a little gap if you're not careful. Okay, so then I'm going to take my Real Techniques smudge brush, not smudge brush, medium shadow brush, and I'm going to buff that in.
If I hadn't
This one actually, now, is this to do with the way that I've not put concealer underneath, or is it just drier? I'm going to put some on my hand to test this out, because this feels drier, which could possibly be the case, because I've often found the lighter the pigment, the more unstable it seems to be in terms of creasing. So because this is slightly darker than the pink I used yesterday, I'm going to leave that on for a minute and see if it smudges out in about 2 minutes time, just like I did yesterday. Now I'm going to take this underneath as well. And I love that because it really opens up and makes brown eyes pop. Jack, keep your nose down, please, darling. And then I'll just run my finger underneath. Then I'm going to use the other side, the green, which is very teal. Can't wait to try this. And I'm just going to do that. Now I'm going to do one eye at a time, because I think the matte ones do dry down a lot quicker and set a lot quicker. And you really don't want to draw a great big triangle on the side of your eye and then find that it's set before you've been able to smudge it out, because it ain't a good look. And then I'm going to go in with the same brush I did yesterday, which is the shading brush. And I'm going to blend that in. Other side.
Well, the whole Avengers.
I'm going to have to do some cleanup on this. I think I'll probably put a bit too much on there. But next up, I'm going to do my eyeliner.
Lifted it up and threw it.
No, he literally just battered Thanos with it.
So did they bring everyone back in the end?
Yeah, they did.
Wait,
Put the
who
wrong
got
side on. Try again.
Who what, Jack?
Who got the gauntlet?
Just blend that in.
No, they oh, I am kind of, yeah.
Twice.
Now, I haven't got Daniel's smudger brush with me, but I've got another Real Techniques one, which is called Point. It's one of their special edition brushes that I don't think is available now. But it's very good for getting in there and smudging out.
Look at that skin, lovely. You know, I think it's coming out next.
This is looking a bit of a mess at the
I
moment,
want to bet Thor.
but hopefully not soon.
Well,
Just
it
go
started
with the flow.
Black Widow.
And then I'm going to
Yeah, this is pointless.
just put the lighter shade again under my brow, just a little dot there, and then blend it away with my fingers. And again here, blend it with my fingers,
Wait, Max. I don't.
and then a little dot in here.
I want to
And
see
in
my
here.
theories correct. In the movie, do they travel back in time
And blend
to
it in with my
Avengers
fingers.
Assemble?
Now, I'm not too worried at the moment. It's
Ah,
looking a
yeah.
bit messy, but I haven't finished yet.
Yeah, there was a leaked
Next
scene.
up, I am now going
There
to
was a leaked
set
scene of them on set.
my
with
lids,
them on set with the old
so that it
Avengers
doesn't do what it
Assemble
did
and
to
all
me
the old
yesterday.
members.
I want to make sure of that, and I want to give myself a bit more pigment anyway on the lids. So I'm going to go in with Charlotte's palette of pops in Starlight, because there's plenty of greens in this palette. As you can see, I've got my pick of the greens, and I think I'll go for this one here.
No,
I'm not going to take it right up to the corner, because I don't want to cover up that teal. And then right in the centre, I'm going to use the lightest shade in this palette of pops and just dot some of that right in the centre to highlight
Oh shoot! I gotta stop.
the middle.
I told you.
Blue pom.
See
I'm gonna
that?
get you a reboot card. Don't worry.
And I'm going to put a dot
I really want that
underneath.
It sounds sick when you take it out.
Okay, next up I'm going to put some black eyeliner on and some mascara and some of that faux white underneath my eyes, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've done bedroom black all the way across, because the liner, when I used the green as a liner, it was quite thick, so I could get away with using black underneath. I've also tight lined with it, and I've used the NYX faux whites with a hint of green, which is called mint cream. And let me just show you that on my hands.
Grappler time.
There we are.
Got the longest
I love
grappler
these,
in
and
the
they
game.
last so long. Okay, now I used the primer mascara that I used yesterday,
What is it?
and I'll put all the details in the description bar. Now, I did feel that this one I'd gone a bit too heavy-handed underneath, and I want to do a bit of cleanup. Now, I know I've set it with powder, but that's okay. I can get away with that. So I'm going in actually with shade 6 now. Sorry about the Fortnite in the background, but I'm just going to put a line there to clean up that area like that, and just blend it in with my hands and just dab a bit more, as Tamsin did with me.
What? Oh, it's on Sniper
Now that
Tower.
I've got my eyeliner on, now this one I'm just going to go in a little bit more because this was slightly, I went down slightly too low with my eye colour.
Is that what
And
he
then
says
I'll
in Endgame?
tuck that in with my fingers so that it looks even
No, in Infinity
on both
War,
sides.
when he gets all of the stones.
Come on,
he
hair,
just
come off my
sighs
face.
for some reason.
Right,
He doesn't say I am.
that's the eyes done. And then I'm going to use Lightgasm.
not-
And I'm really glad
will
I got
go on
Lightgasm
Amazon
because I
Prime,
thought
watch
it's
the
probably
whole
going to be
movie
too light, but I'm going to
and
regret
see
it
if
if
he
I
says
don't get
I am
it. And actually I've used it more than Lovegasm because if you use it, if you're doing a quite bold eye like this, you don't want to go in for bold cheeks as well. And I've already got that Pinkgasm underneath my powder. So now I'm just going to go in with a little bit over the top.
And you go super high.
So I'm just going to
You
mix
really do. It's incredible.
the two blushes together with a big fluffy brush on the same brush.
Use
just
it while
dot
going
that.
into a geyser, Max.
Like that,
Oh my gosh, you got Stormbreaker.
to just build that up.
Lucky.
Okay, and I'll just brush that down.
While you go into a geyser.
I'm going to put a little bit more of the peach,
Use it to go into a geyser and it makes you go super
because
high.
peach and green eyeshadow always looks good. Right, and then I'm going to brush that down on my pyjamas and blend it out.
It's like hit or miss.
Then I use a little bit of the light bronzer all over my face. This is just going to give me a very subtle bronzing effect, but back down on my chest where I get very pale,
If you want to go super high.
it's brilliant because it's going to even out my skin
So you don't
tone.
want to go up to like max.
And then I'm going to finish off with a bit of the highlighter from this palette before moving on to my lips.
Controller behind his head.
I still want a bit more pink. I need some colour. Pink.
I'm hoping Alan doesn't watch my video, otherwise he'll have heard that.
Okay, and then I'm going to move on to my eyes. Before I do, I'm just going to spray my face, and so while it's sinking in, I can be doing my lips. Okay, so I'm going to use Super Size Me. The spray is on, and as you can see, it's brought all the glowy products back, but not so that they're over the top. And then I'm going to put Super Size Me on first. And today, instead of putting the rose, what was it called? The rose one of the collagen lip balm. So I'm going to put the peach one over Super Size Me because that's a combo I haven't tried and I think it would look quite nice. So I'm going to get the peach plump. Now obviously this lipstick's a completely different undertone to peachy plump. I just think it might work if you combine them.
That's actually a compliment.
Yeah, I like that. I think that works. So let me just tidy up my hair a little bit with my hands. Hi guys, I nearly forgot to show you that I put this. I was looking at my video and I've tried to smudge this out and it's not moving. So I definitely think that this one, obviously that was on longer than I tried yesterday, but this one seems a lot more stable. And probably you would be able to wear that one on its own and it wouldn't crease as much. It feels a lot more stable than the pink one. Okay, that, my friends, is today's finished look. Now, I'm sorry it's been so long, but this was a real get ready with me, feel pampered. And I'm still in my pyjamas, and do you know what? I don't care, because I feel so much better now. Even if I don't go out, which I probably won't today because I need to rest up. Big day tomorrow, like I'm going to be physically quite active tomorrow, so I need to really rest up today. But I feel human. And so that's the whole point of it. And I know that some of you following me do exactly the same. So I just want to let you know that, hey, it's okay. Makeup's for you. It's not necessarily for anyone else to see. It's about making you feel good about yourself. So I hope today that I've inspired you to have a go at that look. And I will see you all after the weekend. And I might post up some photographs tomorrow of my step-grandson's christening. So excited. See you all soon. Take care.